Welcome back to Stellaris. Now with the new Vern version, which also involves the fact that we are now playing with the new DLC Federations. Now, I didn't poll anyone for what I should play or what would be popular for me to play on this one, so I just went ahead and made my own little project that I think should be quite enjoyable to play with. But before we go into the game, let's just run down the little mods that I'm using. There aren't really that many mods available for 2.6 yet. One of the mods that I was quite dependent upon, I have actually adapted myself. So let's start with that one. It is the No Clustered Stars. I am very sorry to say that I do not remember who the author of the mod is, but I did adapt it so that it would work with version 2.6. Then I have, of course, Beautiful Universe, to make sure that the universe looks as beautiful as possible. Maybe the music is a bit loud here. Might want to adjust that slightly. There we go. Then I have a mod called Ethics Bias Begone. Apparently the developers have set it up so that there is a very high likelihood that the AIs that spawn in a galaxy together with you have opposing ethics to you. What this mod does is make sure that the ethics that the AI will choose is completely randomized instead of being biased towards being opposed ethics. Then I have Cybrxkhan's assortment of Namelists for Stellaris. I'm not really using that for my race because I made my own little mod list or name list as a mod. However, it does randomize or add more system names, which is a nice little benefit. I also have the mod Reduce Aura Graphics. I have the Daikael's Better Starbases. I did play with that one in the last one as well. It makes Starbases a lot more versatile. A little bit cheaty, I think. But since it also applies to the AI, I don't really mind. And then finally, I have my own namelist mod, of course, but I also have a mod called Scale UI. That is Scale_UI. For me personally, this mod is the best UI mod that I have found so far. It takes a while to run it because you install the mod from the Steam Workshop, and then you have to install GIMP. That is the GNU image manipulation program thingamajiggy. And what that does is that when you run a batch file that the mod author has included with the mod, it actually rescales all of the graphics in the game, including the text, aka the fonts. So that even though I am playing in 1440p, as you're probably noticing, the text is slightly crisper down here. There is no UI scaling involved, so I'm running on 1.0 UI scaling, but still everything is much larger and it makes it so much easier for me to read things, to see things, and I think it took about 2 hours to redo all the graphics, but it's worth it, definitely worth it. I've made a mega corporation, or rather a mega church, the Star Cult of the Tentacle. The Star Cult of the Tentacle is, of course, molluscoids. They are called Tentaculars. They are intelligent, which means that they have plus 10% from all research jobs. As for our ethics, we are fanatic spiritualists and authoritarian. I normally don't play with authoritarian because it gives you the stratified economy, which does reduce a bit of happiness on the worker population. But then again, it also gives them plus 5% resource output, and it also gives plus 0.5 monthly influence, which is definitely a good idea, and the ability to enslave aliens, which we may or may not do. Then we have our what are they called? Not traits, it's the civics. We have the Gospel of the Masses. This megacorporation embraces a curious blend of commercial and spiritualistic values in which the positions of ordained minister and corporate officer have merged into a single role. The effect of that is that spiritualist pops give additional trade value on all planets and branch offices, which is nice for a megacorporation. And we can also build a Temple of Prosperity corporate building. And it gives a handy plus 50% attraction to the spiritualist ethics. It does require us to be spiritualist, but since we are fanatic spiritualists, that's not a problem. And I also opted to take brand loyalty. That's a civic we can change later on, but having plus 15% monthly unity in the beginning is quite nice. The corporate authority means that we hold an election every 20 years to select a new ruler. We do get plus 20 to our administrative capacity, but we also get a plus 50% penalty to Empire Sprawl. Empire Sprawl is not really that much of an issue anymore, so because you get this new building with bureaucrats that actually give you more administrative capacity, that's one of the big changes in version 2.6. So that's fun. And then this one, Origins, that's a new thing for 2.6. Most of the AIs I've noticed choose Prosperous Unification, which is rather weak. Start with 4 additional pops and an additional 2 districts. It's not bad, it gives you a little edge in the beginning there. But I would only pick that if I wanted to have a very balanced game. Now, I normally don't enjoy playing balanced games. That would be boring. Then we have mechanists. You need to be some kind of, or some degree of materialist, and of course not Gestalt consciousness. It gives you 8 pops being robots, and less robot upkeep, and you also start with the technology and infrastructure to build more robots, so that's a very good trait. Syncretic evolution, these used to be civics before. I'm very glad that they've made them into origins. So this one is basically the same as it used to be. You start with 12 pops being of another subservient species. Life-seeded gives you Gaia world as both a home world and also as the planetary preference. This is a difficult but interesting start. Post-apocalyptic, you start on a tomb world, get plus 70% tomb world habitability and plus 10 years, not 10%, but 10 years to lead your lifespan. Baptized by nuclear fire. You get remnants. You start on a relic world. Get Shattered Ring. This is the one that we are going to use. Fair warning, based on my observation, this one is fairly overpowered, but that's fun. You start on a ring world. It's not very big, but it is very nice. Void Dwellers. This one is also quite overpowered. Instead of starting on a planet, you start with 3 orbital habitats, and you have a species that doesn't enjoy living on planets at all. So you basically just live in orbital habitats. Now these are quite big, expensive, I mean, to build, but I think you can build on planets, but as you can see it says severe habitability and growth penalties on all normal planets. I'm not sure what they mean by normal planets. Scion, that's a very interesting origin. You start as a vassal of a fallen empire. This one apparently also is quite overpowered because the fallen empire will coddle you and give you random stuff, and some of that random stuff they give you can be quite extensive. Galactic Doorstep, you start with a dormant gateway in your home system. I'm not really sure why you would do that. I'm not sure if it's an L gate or a regular gateway either. But I would not enjoy having a gateway in my home system, as that would mean that I would have to set up the Starbase there for severe planetary defense instead of actually having it in a safe place, well away from any wormholes or gate. It's not that I have wormholes enabled. Tree of Life. This is one for the hive mind authorities. You start with the Tree of Life, get some rather nice benefits from this one. But if you lose it on the planet that you have it on, that's not good at all. On the Shoulders of Giants, you start with an archaeological site related to a mysterious benefactor in your home system. I have no idea whether this one is good or not. Haven't tried it, haven't read anything about it. I'm sure that since it says related to a mysterious benefactor, it might be a chain of some sort. It would be weird if they have an entire origin dedicated to having one archaeological site and that's it. But I'm not sure. It depends on what it gives. Calamitous Birth. This is for the Lithoid species. You start with a massive crater deposit on your homeworld, which gives additional total districts and mining district, and you are also allowed to build meteorite colony ships, which travel at great speed but damage their target planet. Haven't tried it. The Lithoid species are interesting, but they have a very bad penalty in terms of 25% penalty to population growth, which means that they are very balanced because they get habitability on every single planet. But I would say that they are probably better than most of the other races, but in specific situations. Another hive mind, or rather a machine intelligence origin. You start on a machine world, which of course is quite powerful. Common ground. In this one, you start as the leader of a Galactic Union Federation. Galactic Union Federation is the diplomatic federation, because they've added several types of federations now. We'll get more into that later on. So you have 2 allies. You already start with the Federation tradition, but do notice that members will occupy any guaranteed habitable worlds slots near your home system, so that's not necessarily a good thing. You have the Hegemon. You start as the leader of a hegemony. Again, the members here, that's a different federation, where the leader of the federation obviously is more powerful than their underlings. Again, you lose your 2 guaranteed habitable worlds, but for those of you who have watched the Spiffing Brits video on Stellaris the Federations, this is a very good way to just backstab them and have 3 very, very nice planets very early on in the game if you just invade them. That's not for me though. Then you have a very fun origin, Doomsday. It says with red text there, warning, challenging origin. Your homeworld will explode within 35 to 45 years after the game starts. Haven't tried this. It's certainly a very interesting role-playing origin. But, yeah. Probably for the more specially interested. And finally you have Lost Colony, where you have an advanced version of your own species somewhere in the galaxy. Haven't tried that one either. But we're going to go with the Shattered Ring, starting on a ring world. I'm not sure if I want...
Multidisciplinary customer satisfaction specialists are always just a click away. Don't hesitate. Discover limitless possibilities with MegaCorp today. MegaCorp. The future is our present.
Wow, they can talk. I'm not sure if I want that voice. Might want to go with this one.
The faithful. There is no greater calling.
Or this one.
Hyperdrive primed. All systems ready. Now, let's see what's out there.
But let's go with the Slick Corporation for now. Yeah, the Star Cult of the Tentacle. Our objective is the Holy Tentacular. We have to make the flag wavy. We're using the molluscoid ships. I've made sure that both the male and female ruler title is the Holy Director. I'm starting with myself as the starting ruler. That will change. Oh, there are color rights. I think I like that red color. Should probably change the room as well. I mean, we're a MegaChurch. Completely forgot to do anything about that. That's the new Lithoid room. I think we will go with this one. Clothes. I want to look sufficiently spiritual, so either that one or that one. Well, since we're authoritarian as well, we'll go with this one. Anything else? The name of the species are Tentaculars. I'm using the Caledorn Tentacular. I've found a few particular leader names from my Patreon list, a few from Catherine's Patreon list, and also some of the top commenters in my YouTube videos have been selected to this list. Traits, we are only choosing intelligent. I'm not sure whether sedentary is a good or balanced malice trait anymore. Minus 50% pop growth from immigration can be rather nasty, but you can always modify this away when you get genetics. Anyways, I think I've talked enough for now. Let's save do done. We're starting in a medium spiral galaxy with 11 AI empires. Adjusted the tech tradition cost to 0.75. Habitable worlds, double that. Halved primitive civilization, halved the crisis strength. Not that I expect that we'll get to the crisis, but just playing on Ensign. I'm not that familiar with everything that is new yet. Empire placement is in clusters because the mod that I'm using requires that, and the mod that I'm using means that there is distance between where the spawning of the various AIs in the galaxy is related to us. It should be an approximately average distance between everyone. I've turned off advanced neighbors, keeping hyperlane density at 1, abandoned gateways at 1. As usual, I've turned off wormhole pairs, and I have the guaranteed habitable worlds at 2, and I have the caravaneers on. And with that, let's go in. If we ever knew how our people arrived on Cathedral of the Kraken, our histories have long forgotten it. What we do know is that just over 2,000 years ago, some inconceivable cataclysm destroyed much of the ring and killed most of the population, and that our people eventually rose from those ruins. Our civilization has grown, flourished, and now stands ready to explore the galaxy, whether again or for the first time. But despite all our progress, we still have a long way to go before we can understand and repair the ring world, which is our home. So we have our little ring world, which is... this one is irreparable. The interlude. But we do have 2 ruined ring sections, which we can upgrade when we get the appropriate tech for that. As for the planet itself, it has 5 districts. We start with an agricultural segment, and this is part of why this is so overpowered. Peter Fraser is the governor, but as you can see, we have an income of 119 food. And that is with a population of 16 farmers so far working there. We also have 3 clerks, so that we get enough amenities. Peter Fraser is an Iron Fist, so slave pop resource output is increased by 10%. So we are down here. This is not a bad... This looks like a quite interesting place. So first of all, let's send our science ship there. Let's build another science ship. We're not going to build anything on the planet just yet. Use research. Administrative AI, yes please. Planetary unification, yes please. And I guess 20% isn't really that much now, but let's get nanomechanics. Let's also check our leaders. We have Alnilana, who is our surveying researcher. We have Christian White, who is busy leading the engineering research. We have Kelsey, who is busy leading the society research. And we have Canis, who is busy leading the physics research. Canis is also maniacal. Plus 5% research speed. And we will get Jordan Smith as our next surveying scientist. Our agenda is to grow our economy. We get plus 10% energy credit from jobs thanks to that. Holy Director Caledorn, he has architectural sense and he's a champion of the people. Take a look at our policies. We're in the mercantile diplomatic stance. This gives us plus 25% diplomatic weight from economy, plus 10% trade value, and plus 5 trade protection. Would be nice in regard to pirates. All of these are new as far as I know. Belligerent or better options when it comes to war. Cooperative, this is the best stance if you want to be friendly with everyone. Expansionist, that's the default mode for an irregular civilization with diplomatic stance. Of course, you have Supremacist, is for the truly warlike civilizations. Resettlement, we will leave that on allowed. Orbital bit of bombardment, that on discriminate. We shall keep peaceful and open. Food policy, we can put that on attritional plentitude because we have plenty of income when it comes to food, and even though it also gives mineral upkeep to the population, since we are not lithoids, that is not a problem. That it only affects our food. Okay? We have enough of that. 10% pop growth speed plus 5% pop happiness? Yes, please. Definitely. Economic policy. I'm not sure why this is set to a militarized economy. Get less consumer goods for more alloys. I don't think we want that. I think we'll go over to mixed economy for now. And we'll probably change that to a civilian economy at some point. Our trade policy, wealth creation, we get 1 credit per each collected trade value. Let's set that to a marketplace of ideas. That means we get 1/2 credit and 1/4 unity point per trade value instead. Robotic workers, that is heresy. That must be outlawed. We do not want any robotic workers in our glorious megachurch. Population controls, allowed. Slavery, allowed, definitely. Otherwise, we'll get issues with our factions when those arise. Purge, we can leave that on displacement only. I do not want it to be prohibited in case we get some crappy civilization or species inside our empire. And with that, I think we are ready to start. Set the construction chip to build a mining station there. We need alloys. Yeah, I use that on building a science ship. Good. The science ship is done, so what we'll do now, we need 200 to recruit a new leader. We'll go into the market and we'll sell a couple of 100 food. And we'll go to the science ship and we will recruit Jordan Smith. And we'll send Jordan Smith up there. Now we have to wait for a bit before we can do anything like that again, because... well, we are going to have plenty of scientists very soon, thanks to the insane income of food.
Upscaling complete.
Thank you. Now we'll just leave the construction vessel alone. We don't make too much energy credits currently. But now we can go into the market again and sell more food. Don't need all this food. So let's get some more alloys. And we'll build another science ship. I'm not going to try to pronounce what kind of a class that is, so... oh, while I'm at it, ship designer, remove that, thank you. And the science ship has completed, so let's go sell some more food. And I guess we can sell 50 consumer goods as well. Let's recruit a new scientist. Oh, Yaron, and he's maniacal. Let's recruit Yaron and change. I think I want Yaron leading the engineering department, and then we can put Christian White as a surveyor instead. You always want the maniacal ones and the genius ones to lead your science departments, preferably the geniuses, since they have 10%.
Outlier identified.
120. Massive storms are visible in the upper atmosphere of this gas giant. It might be worth the effort to study them in more detail. Yep. We're not going to do the more difficult ones in the beginning. Just leave them. We'll take the ones that are quick and easy. A tomb world, size 18. I guess our planners are going to be in here. Maybe there.
Identified.
180. Sure. It's not going to be there, that's for sure. Might be there, but I suspect it's going to be in these two. In this area here. We will go with Discovery. That gives us plus 20% anomaly research speed. And some rather nice buffs. And most importantly, increases our research speed by 10% when we finish this tree. Yep. We have plenty of food again. Let's go sell some food. And let's buy some alloys. We can wait until the month is ended to build a new science vessel. There we go. Now let's build a new science ship. Extreme storms. Within one frequently experiences massive and extremely violent storm systems in its atmosphere. Several dozen persistent storms are visible from orbit, with winds often reaching speeds in excess of 700 meters per second. The course of these storms is not immediately apparent, as we have found nothing in the planet's climate model that would explain them. Our scientists are interested in studying this anomaly. +3 physics research. The Voltaeum star assembly. We have recovered artifacts from an ancient alien civilization on Awan Va. They must have been active in this region of space approximately 12 million years ago, judging by the age of the artifacts. From what they have been able to piece together, our scientists theorize that these aliens, who call themselves the Voltaeum Star Assembly, were worm-like annelids, roughly 3 to 4 meters in length, that communicated with each other primarily through vibrations carried along their segmented bodies. Sorry. Interesting. Begins the precursors, the Voltaeum event chain, and we get 3 minor artifacts. I think that was the one that I got in the last series that I was making as well, but I haven't seen it. I've played the game a few times after the Federations came out. I haven't seen that one, so they seem to have randomized them.
Situation log revised.
Nicely. I forgot to read this anomaly. Weak signal. By chance, we stumble upon a faint alien signal during the survey of this planet. The source appears to be a small object in orbit. The signal contains no message. Could it be a distress transponder? Oh, that one. Meh. Contact report. Remnants. The star cult of the Tentacle is abuzz with news of the alien remnants that were recently studied. These leavings are considered definite proof of intelligent, purposeful alien activity at some point in the past. We may still be alone now, but we are at least not the first to be so. Remarkable. Our science ship is done. Let's go sell some food. And recruit a new scientist. Julie Fisher will be go there.
Potential market survey completed.
You found a new archaeological site, and the Ithin system has been fully surveyed. Let's go to those binary stars there. This one is a difficulty 1. That's not too bad. Ancient life pod. An abandoned life pod was detected in close orbit of Gorassus 3. It is covered in scorch marks, presumably from when the pod's mothership exploded, and preliminary scans suggest it was built more than 5,000 years ago. The crew of the CTF, that is the corporate tentacular fleet, Cybrxkhan, managed to open the pod, revealing the withered remains of a reptilian alien clad in a resplendent uniform. Clutched in one of its claws was a small picture of another individual from the same race, possibly a mate or a revered leader. 118 Society research. Well, we haven't found any of our planets yet. Here we go. Arctic. No, that's not it. I believe our preferred... Yep, ocean preference. We have encountered a hostile hijacked fleet in Cathedral of the Kraken. Okay. The Throne of God. Centuries ago, a group of radical priests and their devoted followers on Cathedral of the Kraken broke away from the established religions to form their own church. These extremists call themselves the Throne of God and have been responsible for many atrocities and acts of terror over the years. Although they have kept a low profile in modern times, we recently learned that many of their agents have infiltrated our military. These renegades have secretly been diverting resources to the construction of a small fleet of starships at a hidden facility on Cathedral of the Kraken. When their treachery was revealed, the cultists blasted into the orbit on their ships and fled to the ring section. They must be stopped.
Situation log revised.
Okay, well... let's go after them. Cultist ship disabled. Our valiant space forces have skillfully disabled a ship in the cultist armada. It is mostly intact, and we are picking up faint life signs from inside its hull. Once we have eliminated all threats in the immediate vicinity, we should conduct a boarding operation to secure any survivors. They may be able to tell us more about the ultimate motives of the Throne of God. Repair the breaching charges.
Situation log revised.
Now, we can board them with our military fleet, so let's do that. I think this means that we'll have those things happening in other systems as well.
Special project actualized.
Boarding action. Although the survivors offered stiff resistance, our boarding party was able to secure several prisoners from the disabled cultist starship. From them, we have learned that this conspiracy goes far deeper than we initially suspected. The agents of the Throne of God include several flag officers and high-ranking officials within our government. Mass arrests are being made on Cathedral of the Kraken, and all assets are belonging to this cult have been seized. However, several of the starships they built in secret remain unaccounted for, and the upper echelons of the cult's leadership have vanished. We have picked up faint ion trails leading to several outlying systems. We must pursue these terrorists.
Future market survey complete.
Let's reduce the music volume slightly. And where are these? Yeah, of course, in those two systems. One over there, and one in the core. That means that I'm not sure where it is. Does that mean that... That's strange.
Potential market survey completed.
Surveyed Awan. Let's turn off that tracking again. It'd be annoying. Here we are. Ark, an ocean world size 17. Let's get the To Boldly Go. That increases our survey speed by 35% and also gives our science ship a disengaged chance increase of 50%.
Market outlier identified.
150. Anomaly. We briefly detected some unusual energy readings emanating from this moon. It might have been a glitch in our systems, or it could be a sign of something more. Let's research that. Oh. This is nice. These worlds are very, very eligible candidates for being terraformed. That's a very balanced world. I like that.
Potential market survey completed.
You can go there. I guess we can build another science ship as well. Can also go to the market and sell some food. Anilana has leveled up. Here's an ocean world size 18. Excellent, excellent. This is... I really like this start. Having all of these very nice planets very close, that is good. Habitable World Survey. We now know without a doubt that a thriving biosphere is not something unique to Cathedral of the Kraken. Both the scientific community and the public at large are eager to learn more about the various forms of alien life found throughout the galaxy. Efforts to catalogue the life forms we encounter are already underway, but our xenobiologists have urged us to focus our planetary survey efforts on habitable, life-bearing worlds. can either get 20 influence, or we can do Commendable Initiative, which begins the Habitable World Survey event chain. I always do that, so...
Situation log revised.
However, I think that this is a good spot to end the first episode. We're off to a very good start. So, yeah. In the next episode, we'll just continue our surveying, and we will probably try to nab Ark so that we can colonize this planet. But for now, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all in the next episode.